the last sort of notable or especially sort of big, interesting movie of 2014 that we're going to talk about was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. Coming off of...
No, there's the monkeys are behind us. That's our city.
You got that?
Get out that bridge.
Coming off of, a reboot a couple years before that, again, was one that people didn't quite know what to make of going into, but I think was very well received. But it was one of those things where it was like, it was a good movie and people liked it, but then the sequel really built on it and went in some daring directions. Just dropping Franco and really any human connection to that first movie was something that I don't think a lot of franchises would have done.
Yeah,
but it completely worked here.
Certainly a non-traditional sequel, I would say. My expectation was different than what the reality ended up being, and in the best way possible.
Which is weird because a non-traditional sequel is kind of traditional for Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like their original, 5-movie run?
Yeah.
Is so weird and all over the place and spans so much different space and time. Like sometimes it's underground, sometimes it's more in the future where the apes have taken over everything and they run governments and stuff like that and they wear real clothes. But by no means should this franchise have been great again because we saw what Tim Burton did with it in the 90s, which was a huge disappointment for me because I love Planet of the Apes and I love Tim Burton. Those two things coming together.
That's the least Tim Burton movie there is, by the way.
It's right. Like there's a few of the sets peek through here and there.
He kisses that monkey at the end.
I know, it's very odd.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We're gonna let that sit right there.
That'll be a whole other conversation.
But Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is a gorgeous, phenomenal movie, and you're so right in that it's daring and taking all the stuff, all of the kind of human hope elements that were in the first movie, and pushing them off to the sides, and kind of relegating humans to be more kind of evil terrorist people who are trying to stop these guys these apes that live in Muir Woods, like right north from here.
It's also like I remember the person I saw it with. She leaned over and at one point she's like, "Are those monkeys like real?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, this movie, like the CG looks. I don't even know. Is it CG? Are they real monkeys?
It is CG.
Is Caesar actually talking?
They trained a bunch of monkeys to shoot guns.
Yeah.
It's amazing because the whole opening, we spend so much time with them. And, Andy Serkis had rightfully been acclaimed for many, many years with what he's been doing. But this movie was another sort of big, we should maybe give this guy an Oscar nomination, along with the confusion of the fact that he's giving a legitimately amazing performance matched with amazing special effects.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's so many people involved in creating this character you're completely invested in.
Yeah,
sort of like the best films and the best games that bring you to that level of escapism and fantasy are the ones where you never really second guess them.
Yeah.
They're just operating in the background. Like the games that have the best cameras in them and stuff like that. The way the special effects worked in this film, you never once said, "Oh, that's not believable. I don't buy that." You just 5 minutes in, you were hooked. You were in this universe.
I did realize that the monkeys weren't real though because I walked by one of the days they were filming on Columbus in North Beach, and I saw just a side street, and I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." And then in the movie, it's filled with monkeys. There were no monkeys that day though.
No monkeys.
They might have been hiding when you walked by.
I have to note that this movie was directed by Matt Reeves, who was the